Capricorn, Capricorn. One decision this week changes everything. There's a crossroads forming in front of you right now. You might not see it yet. It might just feel like pressure, a heaviness in your chest, a voice you've been ignoring that's getting louder, a door you know you need to walk through, but you've been standing frozen in front of it. Capricorn, this week everything shifts. Not because the stars demand it, not because fate has decided, but because you are finally ready to make the one decision you've been avoiding. And there are 5 truths about why this moment matters so much. 5 reasons why this single choice could rewrite the entire next chapter of your story. I know what you're thinking. You're Capricorn. You don't believe in magic or miracles. You believe in structure, strategy, hard work. But what if I told you that the foundation you've been building with such discipline is about to reveal a hidden staircase you never knew existed? Stay with me until the very end, because what I'm about to share isn't about destiny. It's about recognition. It's about looking in the mirror and finally understanding why you've been carrying this weight alone for so long. If you're a Capricorn sun, moon, or rising, subscribe to this channel right now. Hit that like button, because you deserve to hear these 5 truths. And you deserve to know that the mountain you're climbing, you don't have to climb it alone. Let's begin. Reason number 1. You built your life like someone builds a cathedral. Stone by stone, brick by brick. No shortcuts, no help, no second guessing. Because Capricorn understands something most signs never grasp: gravity. You know that anything built without foundation crumbles. So you dig deep. You build slow. You become the foundation itself. But here's what nobody told you. Cathedrals inspire awe, but they're also empty. Look around at what you've created. The career nobody thought you could achieve. The respect you earned inch by inch. The reputation solid as granite. There's pride in that. There should be. You've earned every single stone in that empire. But at night, when the lights go out and the world goes quiet, you hear the echo. The sound of your own footsteps in empty hallways. The coldness of walls you built with your own hands. And a question you try not to ask, but it whispers, whispers, whispers. If I stop building, am I still enough? Because here's the thing, Capricorn. You learned early that love must be earned. That affection is conditional. That you need to deserve to be chosen. So you made yourself useful, reliable, the pillar, the mountain. The person who holds the world together while everyone else falls apart. And they admire you for it. But admiration doesn't warm your chest at 3 a.m. Does it? Here's the painful truth. You built so well, so high, so solid, that people forgot you also need to be held. They see the mountain. They don't see the snow weighing down your shoulders. They don't see the roots you're holding steady even when the ground shakes. They don't see that you, too, feel small sometimes. And this decision facing you this week? It's about this. It's about choosing whether you'll keep carrying the world alone, or whether you'll finally allow someone to climb the mountain to meet you. Not to save you. You don't need saving, but to keep you company, to share the view, to remind you that building empires is impressive, but existing, simply existing, without having to prove anything, that's allowed too. You've worn this loneliness like a badge of honor, like proof of your strength. But strength is also about allowing. Strength is also about releasing. Strength is also saying, I build all of this, and now I get to choose who enters. That's reason 1. And it's just the foundation. Reason number 2. You were never given permission to fail. And I'm not talking about external rules. I'm talking about that internal courtroom you carry. That invisible jury that never sleeps, never rests, never stops evaluating every single decision you make. Was that good enough? Could you have done better? What if this doesn't work out? Capricorn, you live with a weight others don't see. It's the weight of being the one who holds everything together. Of being the person everyone relies on. The last line of defense when everything else crumbles. And you do it so well, so naturally, that people assume it's easy for you. They don't see the nights you replay plans in your head, the scenarios you anticipate, the disasters you prevent before they even happen. You're like a chess master playing 10 moves ahead, but nobody applauds the moves that prevented defeat. They only see the final victory, and they assume it was luck. But it wasn't. It was you. It's always been you. And here's what that created inside you. A fatigue, so deep you don't even know you're tired anymore. Because you can't stop. Because if you stop, who holds everything? If you crumble, who builds? If you admit weakness, who will trust you again? So you don't admit it. You swallow it. You breathe deep. You adjust the crown and keep going. But this week, something's different. This week, you're starting to feel the weight in a new way. Not as responsibility, but as choice. Because here's the thing. You chose to carry all of this. And you can choose differently. I'm not saying abandon your responsibilities. You'd never do that. You're Capricorn. Your word is law. Your commitment is sacred. But what if you could carry it with lightness? What if you could do what needs to be done, without sacrificing yourself on the altar of expectation? Imagine this for a moment. Imagine waking up and not feeling the weight of proving anything, of deserving anything, of sustaining anything. Imagine doing what you do, building, leading, achieving, not because you have to, but because you want to. Not out of fear of disappointing, but out of joy of creating. That sounds impossible right now, I know. It sounds utopian. But Capricorn, you're the sign that turns the impossible into inevitable. You know this. And this decision in front of you, it's about redefining what success actually means. Not the success others applaud. The success you feel. The kind that lets you sleep peacefully. The kind that doesn't need external validation, because the internal validation is rock solid. You spent so much time building for the world that you forgot to build for yourself. This week, you remember. Reason number 3. You learn to control everything, except the fear of being vulnerable. Let's be honest, Capricorn. You're a master of control. You organize, structure, plan. You don't leave anything to chance. Because chaos is threat. Unpredictability is danger. And you swore, consciously or unconsciously, that you'd never be caught off guard. But here's the cruel paradox. The more you control the external, the less you can access the internal. You built a mask so perfect, so well-fitted, so convincing, that sometimes even you forget you're wearing one. The mask of competence, of strength, of the person who's fine, who has it handled, who doesn't need anything. And look, I'm not saying the mask is fake. You are competent. You are strong. You do handle it. But you're also human. And humans feel fear, feel doubt, feel that tightness in their chest when they look at the future and don't know if they'll make it, if they'll be enough, if they'll be loved when they stop doing and simply are. You hide it so well. You smile in meetings. You answer, I'm fine, on autopilot. You keep your posture straight, your gaze steady, your voice calm. But at night, when you're alone, the mask is heavy, and you wonder, who would I be without it? Who would you be if you weren't the responsible one? The reliable one? The pillar? Who would love you if you showed the cracks? And this decision, Capricorn, it's about this. It's about choosing to show one crack. Just one. To one person. To yourself. Not to crumble, but to breathe. Because here's the thing. Vulnerability isn't weakness. Vulnerability is truth. It's the courage to say, I don't know, or I'm tired, or I need support too. And when you do that, when you finally release control for just a second and let someone see you really, something magical happens. People don't abandon you. They come closer. Because they never loved the mask, Capricorn. They never did. They admire the mask. But they love what's underneath. And you deserve to be loved for who you are, not for what you do. This week, you'll have the chance to remove the mask, even if just for 5 minutes, even if just alone in the mirror. And when you do, you'll realize that what you called control was actually fear. And that releasing control isn't losing. It's flying. I want to pause for just a moment and ask you something. Have you felt this? This silent weight of carrying everything alone? Of being the mountain everyone climbs, but nobody truly sees? Leave a comment right now. Tell me, yes, I feel this. Or share what this journey has been like for you. Because I want you to know, you're not alone on this mountain. There are thousands of Capricorns here, feeling exactly what you're feeling. And when you share, you release. You validate. You connect. So comment below. I read every single one. Let's continue. Reason number 4, you reach the summit and realize that up there, you're alone. There's an expression that says, it's lonely at the top. And when you first heard it, maybe you thought it was just a cliche, something CEOs say to sound profound. But now you know. You know, because you're there. You climbed the mountain. You achieved what you promised to achieve. You proved what you needed to prove. And when you finally reached the top, you looked around and realized the people didn't climb with you. Not because they don't love you. Not because they don't care. But because the Capricorn journey is yours. It always was. You never asked for company. You only offered destination. And people admire the destination. But they don't know how to walk beside you. So they stay at the base, cheering, applauding, waiting for you to come down and tell them what it was like up there. And you descend. And you tell them. And you smile. And you climb again. But a part of you, that part you won't even admit to yourself, screams silently. Why didn't anyone stay? Capricorn, you were trained to be self-sufficient, to not depend, to not need. And that made you unstoppable. But it also made you unreachable. People look at you and see someone who doesn't need anything, who has it all figured out, who doesn't want help. And maybe that's partly true. But it's also armor. Because the truth you can barely whisper to yourself, is you want to be chosen too. Not for what you offer, not for what you build, but for what you are. You want someone who climbs the mountain just to be with you, who doesn't ask for anything, who doesn't demand anything, who just stays. And this decision in front of you, it's about allowing that. It's about descending the mountain for a moment, not to abandon the summit, but to reach for someone, to extend your hand and say, climb with me. Not because you have to, but because I want to show you the view. You spent so much time being the mountain that you forgot that mountains also feel the wind, the cold, the solitude of the heights. But mountains also feel the sun. And when you allow someone to warm you, Capricorn, you realize the summit doesn't have to be lonely. It just needs to be shared. Reason number 5, the most important of all. You're about to make the decision that redefines everything. And no, it's not a decision about career, or money, or success. It's a decision about you. Because, Capricorn, you've spent your entire life building, structuring, proving, earning. And now, perhaps for the first time, you're asking yourself, what if I'm already enough? Let me repeat that, because it's the most important thing I'll say in this entire video. What if you're already enough? Not when you finish the next project. Not when you reach the next goal. Not when you prove to that person you were worthy all along. Now, exactly as you are. Enough. That breaks something inside you, doesn't it? Because you were conditioned to believe that being isn't enough. That you need to do, produce, deliver, achieve. But what if the truth is the opposite? What if everything you've done until now was just an attempt to prove something that never needed proving? You were always worthy, always deserving, always enough. And this decision that changes everything, is about believing that. It's about releasing the weight of expectation, the control, the mask, the loneliness. It's about choosing, finally, to live. Not for others, not to prove, but to feel. Feel the sun without planning how to use it better. Feel love without asking if you deserve it. Feel joy without guilt for not being productive. That's the decision, Capricorn. And I know it's terrifying. Because it means releasing control. It means trusting. It means believing you're loved not for what you do, but for who you are. But you're Capricorn. You've done terrifying things before. You've climbed mountains nobody thought possible. So you can do this too. You can choose you. And when you do, when you finally release, breathe, allow, everything changes. People don't abandon you. They come closer. Success doesn't disappear. It gains meaning. And you finally rest. Not because you stopped building, but because you started living in what you built. This week, Capricorn, you'll feel it. You'll know what the decision is. And you'll be afraid. But you'll do it anyway. Because you're the mountain. And mountains don't tremble. They transform. So here's the final truth, Capricorn. The truth that runs through all the others. You don't have to carry the world to be loved. You don't have to be perfect, or unbeatable, or indestructible. You can be tired, and scared, and human, and still be worthy of everything. Of love, of peace, of joy, of lightness. You built a fortress to protect yourself. But fortresses are also prisons. And this week, you have the key. You always had it. You just needed to remember that you can open the door. You can let in the light, the company, the vulnerability. You can descend the mountain, remove the mask, release the control. Not because you're weak, but because you're brave enough to be real. And when you do that, Capricorn, the world doesn't crumble. You are reborn. I know this was intense. I know you might be feeling tightness in your chest right now, or tears you didn't expect. And that's okay, because that means you felt. And feeling is the first step to transforming. So I want to ask you one final question. Are you ready to make this decision? The one that changes everything, that frees you, that allows you, finally, to live in peace with who you are. Leave a comment now. Tell me, have you felt this silent pain inside you? What will you choose to do with it? I read every comment, and I'll be here with you on this journey. If this video touched you, subscribe to this channel. Leave your like. Share it with another Capricorn who needs to hear this. Because you're not alone. You never were. You are the mountain. And mountains sustain the world. But they also touch the sky. Until the next video, Capricorn, you are enough. You always were. Black Heart.